Outside of creating content, however you categorize it, the topic of stuff is frequently top of mind. Computer stuff, mostly. No, this isn't about AI or quantum or some other new technology, or even computers really at all. This is about the data we produce and consume as humans, our digital stuff. It used to be entertaining debating Spotify versus owning music with colleagues at work. Things took a turn somewhere. DRM became really real. Content disappeared for numerous reasons. Artists would have a dispute with their label, or in some cases, there were these really acrimonious lawsuits over the art. And sometimes there were just reasons. Their song you loved or show you really wanted to watch just simply wasn't available anymore. Because nobody cares what happens to your stuff. Listening to Maggie Rose singing No One Gets Out Alive today on Spotify. Such a tremendous song. Stuff has a lot of forms. Maggie's beautiful song is one example of stuff. The script being read right now is stuff, as are the accompanying videos and images and so forth. It's a process to put this collection of stuff into something comprehensible by others. Doing this content is kind of a practice run for real work involving people and their stuff. The stuff on this channel was born of a feeling of insignificance, a general lack of accomplishment. Don't be misunderstood. There's a lot of creativity in art that can be shared, but it's all ephemeral. I mean, that's the point with technology, right? It gets better in the next version. Just wait. How's this for a tattoo? Nothing's forever. While the sentiment sounds a little bleak, there's a certain irony to be found. Software engineers or developers or architects or whatever term is used to define it, these people are all over the place. They are artists creating things that will never be seen directly by others or controlled in some way other than their intended use. I'm all about collaboration. But at the end of it all, for whatever reason, the desire to have something tangible to hang my hat on has always been there. Part of the intent with this content is to share this value somehow. The art I do is obsolete now. All that's left is to talk about history, and frankly, that shit isn't getting us anywhere new. There won't be many coding examples to share here. That's just more stuff to keep up with. Just looking at the scripts for the content ideas for this channel, there are more ideas for stuff than complete ideas. That's becoming too much of a theme. These ideas come like a flood at times. Other times it's like a slow drip. Something comes to mind and its relevance is lost by the very next thing to come along. 3 paragraphs seems to be about the limit most times. No matter the situation, some stuff gets created and tracked through this same mental process. Some stuff makes it. Most stuff never gets that far, though. YouTube was built for creators and influencers. What am I going to influence, though? I'm not going to create much code anymore, and that was my creative outlet. Hell, even the Apple II code written when Woz visited my workplace, remember that? It's all documented back in episode 49. You know where to find the link. Surely Apple II code isn't on AI. Except, well, yeah, of course it is. It's more long-winded than I would write it, but only because back then it was hard putting all those strings together on such a tight time budget. And it took a couple of prompt edits to get it there 100%, but I didn't type a single character of what you're looking at. There's no stuff to contribute here. At least, not anything anyone would pay attention to. However this all works out, the excitement about the potential in this content is starting to feel very real. There's a lot to share beyond pointless stories, but there are dozens of those too. In many cases, it's like listening to stories from olden times, except a lot of this stuff is only 2 or 3 years old. It's tough to predict or even daydream what the future is going to hold. During those conversations about the ethics of supporting musicians, we never once thought about the songs just simply not being there. That's simply a lever of control that was never once considered. And who would take down that stuff anyway? And why? If you pay for something, it belongs to you, doesn't it? Feels like that changed somewhere, that definition of ownership. There used to be stores with row after row of music to purchase. Retail's dead now, and if you do see music on sale somewhere, it's typically big commercial artists with lots of label support. Somebody's got to pay for all that shelf space, right? What about using Spotify to discover new music? 3, 2. What about using Spotify to discover new music and artists, then buying albums or CDs, whatever, directly from that artist? But do you actually need that stuff, given the relative ease with which you can access it seemingly for free? It's a personal decision. Both perspectives are understandable. Artists supporting other artists is super important. For musicians and other performers, looking within the broader community is natural. Performing arts are ripe for video and other influencer based content. Except, why are they always influencing you to buy stuff? What about influencing people to do things without buying something in the process? You may never know you need that wrinkle cream that makes your eyes look younger. So let's get a bunch of puffy eyed people over here to tell you all about it. For engineers, well, people in technology, finding those communities can be tricky. And the work is typically done in direct pursuit of profit, being able to make a living producing things designed to delight others. It sounds like art, at least. Once you've amassed your stuff, there needs to be a vehicle through which you can share it with other like minded individuals. And it's not super impressive watching AI bang out code that used to take days and weeks and months to write. And on top of this, how are people supposed to find your stuff? Sure, there are hundreds of places offering to build audiences guaranteed, but what kind of audience comes along with that guarantee? You want your target audience to find your stuff, but that means having a core audience and a target, I suppose. Having a core audience implies there's a central theme. The only central theme here is the boundless pursuit of joy, however it's realized. Whether it's a technically oriented engineering audience, or an audience geared more towards food, or an audience built solely to support content from a tiny green chef, or maybe, just maybe, it's all of that, and some more. If nothing else, it's really fun figuring this all out. Speaking of stuff, I'd be remiss if I did not mention that Joshua Ray Walker's new album, Stuff, is out now. Links is where links always are. This wasn't a shoehorn attempt on my part to plug his album, it just kind of worked out that way. In a big picture sense, I help people deal with their stuff on a daily basis. Thanks as always for helping me deal with mine. Take care.